Hi, my name is Maria Masington. Thank you for this opportunity to read poetry with you today. I have 3 short poems, the first of which is titled The Wedgwood Nest. The Wedgwood Nest. They swim in my bowl, baby birds on a milk pond. Tiny veined feet work under the surface. Problems to fish out. I gently scoop up each with a silver soup spoon. Down drips white. Yet there in the bottom, an egg that did not hatch, cracked open like a lipoma clinging to the china, refusing to nudge. The bad egg, the dilemma. If I try too hard, I'll disrupt it, pierce the yolk, stain the cream, a poison canary yellow. Thank you. My second poem is called Grandmother. Grandmother, a platoon of white-coated ants carries away your fragile breadcrumb body, leaving a snake pit of wires tangled by the hollow cicada shell of your bed. The ambulance speeds from our hive like a wasp from the vegetable garden with a cabbage worm in her mouth. A worker bee watching my queen die. Thank you. And lastly, my last poem is it's called Terrain. It's about sexuality and the aging process. Terrain. She unrolls her body like a map, field of evening primrose, pink, silvery track of scar tissue, dune of lump biopsy, hidden cave of episiotomy, twisted highways of varicosities, arthritic hands run over land and sea. She curls herself around him and whispers, "Welcome home." Thank you for this opportunity. I wish everyone a great festival. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
I got into poetry for fame and fortune, misled by the advice of an uncle who took me aside and told me, "I want to say one word to you, just one word, poetry." My uncle had a feeling that the next big key word would be a P word. He just picked the wrong one. So I took up poetry and left plastics to other enterprising young people, a few of whom amassed fortunes, if not fame. All I amassed is a stack of poems, eye-high and growing, and largely ignored by a world now choking on the plastics it has glutted itself with. I achieved neither fortune nor fame, but at least I've proven less toxic to the world than those who received more sage advice. Between the sun and the stars. Having done all the day required of it, the sun retired to the west with a splash of magenta, leaving open the sky for the stars, who balleted all the night long, mesmerizing the audience. Then dawn broke, and the sun had to shine with all its might all the day long to break the spell. The audience regained its senses just in time to attend to its twilight toilette and get ready for the stars' next rapture. And this went on for many days, and peace prevailed until the clouds came. We have some big worries, but it's the little things that'll drive you mad once you start thinking in terms of germs. Once you start thinking in terms of germs, you fall in with the dreamers of other demons, along with those apprehended by apparitions and those attending to voices that cannot be heard. You delve into the realm of the imperceptible, Vile spirits of viruses and bacteria swarm on doorknobs, window sashes, and writing implements. Worse than seeing them is not seeing them, yet being keenly and constantly aware that they are there. For there, in the dark realm of the imperceptible, vexed by spates of spectral viruses, beleaguered by incubus loads of bacteria, you doom yourself to dwell on the demons of dis-ease once you start thinking in terms of germs. Unlikelihood. You see her in a crowded room, in the moment before she notices you, before she gives you the look she keeps for you and gives to you over and over, the look you know so well and love so dearly. You see her again as a lovely stranger in a crowded room, with no pathway to her through the crowd. You see her face as it was before, when her eyes were a stranger's eyes that would not flicker as you passed. For a moment you feel as you did when you first dared to think perhaps she'd stop for you. You see again the unlikelihood of it all, and you wonder if it could have happened, or if the sweet memory is just a sweet notion about a lovely stranger in a crowded room. Then she stops, and you see on that lovely face the look that miraculously belongs to you. Love is grand, but in these COVID times, our fancies turn to other important things. When the fatal collision occurred, they had in their closet, unbeknownst to them, a lifetime supply of toilet paper. When the fatal collision occurred, they were on their way to market for more toilet paper. If they had realized they already had a lifetime supply, they might not have been on the road when the fatal collision occurred. If they had not been there, the fatal collision might not have occurred at all. A tragedy could have been averted, but then they might have run out of toilet paper.
Hi, I'm Missy Grotz, and this is Tired of Things. I am so tired of things. Tired of the car that needs more attention than a cancer patient, even though I got a great rating from Car and Driver. Tired of the stupid electricity blowing yet another fuse. Tired of being the most considerate neighbor to park on the block, ending up a mile away from my own home. I'm tired of having to be the one to make sure that everybody got the message, and even if they didn't, telling them because they were too lazy to pay attention, still taking it on the chin when somebody is ticked off that I missed telling them directly. I'm tired of doing the thing everywhere I go, from figuring out the price for the bewildered clerk on the sale item that isn't marked, to telling the doctor that no, I wasn't on that medication because you said it was allergic, right? To telling the hamburger stand drive-through hash slinger that pickle only means no ketchup. I'm tired of telling my older brother when to buy a gift for someone or a card for someone or my date that what they are doing isn't amusing, and can't they see this contempt on my face? Don't stick that spoon on your nose, and don't traumatize the waiter in your debonair way. Can't they see it as clear as could be? For God's sake, pay attention. I am tired of those idiots, yes, idiots, that drive across the crosswalk and then wave you across as if to make sport of running you down, or the crossing guard that stops traffic for 5 minutes for students that are 2 blocks away. How about the small man or woman that has 2 dogs that are the size of small ponies pulling them along toward you, and you see that they are Dobermans or pit bulls and you don't want to be friendly? I'm especially sick of cops that turn on their lights to speed through the intersection to get the last donut, Or that clueless moron that stops you in the middle of the street, backing up traffic while asking directions to a street that you've never heard of in all your 20-something years in the same town? And heaven help the poor sot that can't make change in the 8 items or less lane with his 15 items, or the cretin that can't understand the circular they have in their hand expired 2 days ago, and that they can't have the sale price, or the clod that fills out the deposit slip at the teller's counter instead of at that little table like the rest of society. I'm sick of the mother that lets her kids suck a balloon or candy or whatever, then puts it back as if to say that her kids' germs aren't contagious or whatever, and will not pay for it. Finally, I think that the thing I am most tired of is the person that can't commit to a lane in traffic, or the moron that thinks they can complete a left-hand turn from the right-hand lane, or just about anybody that can't figure out the light is not going to get any greener. The very last thought. Dark, swarthy, unshaven men spoke in foreign tongues nervously, pacing the narrow aisle nervously, eyes darting side to side. She looked out at the brilliant blue horizon, the glittering city below, then inside, as one sweaty suit on the aisle loosened his tie, and an old woman clung to her rosary. Not in America, but it was happening right here, right now, right before her eyes, and she was helpless, unable to watch or turn away, unable to stop them, unable to pray. God, are you there? Beyond belief that they were headed straight into the tower. Surreal that this gleaming silver and white plane would aim for solid steel and concrete, and would they make it? She knew the answer. Too terrifying to voice, to consider that this was it, her last day. And the very last thought that went through her mind before the steel girders went through her head was disbelief, sheer horror on the faces of the ones in the building before her, then nothing at all. This is the spin doctor. You could charm the stink off a skunk, but truth eludes you, and oil avoids you like oil runs from water. You were never concerned with truth. No, you were engaging, magnetic, and don't forget, dynamic. But these gave no comfort on cold dark nights as I sat alone, while you were somewhere else, sharing your spin, charming the sense out of somebody else. You sang that born-again song hypnotically to those lovelorn ladies, gathering them to yourself like a harem in the name of religion, not even knowing what you stood for. When I spotted your harem, I was gone. Nothing could change the truth. Now I am free except for your random call. You have no friends. And I must say that I am curious to see how long you last with nobody to spin to.
Hi, I'm Steve Delia, and my first piece is called Recalculating, and it starts with an epigram from Kim Adonisio. She says, "Why can't there be a GPS for writers, a little electronic gizmo that says your plot is going the wrong way? Turn here." I've been down this road before, the page called Lost, where my writing searches for direction. Poems and memoirs go the wrong way down one-way streets, leave verses on the corner of some unnamed road in the middle of frost knows where. It's comforting to know I'm not the only writer that makes wrong turns, has a tough time finding the route. I try to transition stanza to stanza, but keep getting detoured by signs of bridge closed, slippery with adverbs, no forced rhyme anytime. In moments of flat phrases from hitting potholes, I wish it would just magically fall into place, but then the magic is in the journey. This is called To and From, and it's a rhyming poem. I don't much rhyme these days, but now and then one will surface. To and from. From the dawn of day to the dark of night, from the delicacy of a kiss to the muscle of might, from injured dreams dreamt far and near, from crib to coffin, first cry, final tear. From cellar to chimney, subway to stars, from Earth to Mercury, Venus to Mars, from still ash to dancing flame, from all we once were and all we became. This is a poem for Sandy, and it's called Last Time. I didn't know that day we stood in front of the Glenside Library would be the last time I'd see you. There were no goodbyes as we stood in the autumn chill, talked and talked like we never wanted to stop. I wonder if you already knew this was our last hug, our last kiss, our last smile, our last glimpse as we got in our cars. You turned left, I turned right, as you drove out of my life, then out of yours. For all the coffee drinkers out there, it's called 10 Cup Man. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. You good? Fine. You look fine. How's the wife? How's the kids? Kids growing up fast. Everything is fast. Fast, fast, fast. How's the job? How's work? Good job? Job good? I hope so. You got a new car. So did I. Got in an accident. Got hurt. Went to the hospital. Good hospital. Got discharged. Got the car repaired. Places to go. People to see. Nice day today. Rain tomorrow. Don't know after that. Got to get home. Watch the news. Watch the weather forecast. Got to pick up dinner. Having pizza. Stop by for pizza. No pepperoni. Right? I remember you don't like pepperoni. I love pepperoni, but you don't. Can't make it? That's okay. I'll let you go. I have to go. We have to go. Go, go, go. Gotta eat. Pick up pizza. Going to stop at Starbucks first. I need a coffee.
Hi, I'm River Adams, and this first poem is called Searching for Petersburg, dedicated to Jack Gilbert. You cannot feel your heart until it is in pain. The memory of a white northern night, gray like a gray northern mouse, pushes on it, softly in her disturbed sleep, twitches, and scratches with one tiny claw, Russian soil caked under the nail. Then it aches. In Pittsburgh, the words East and liberty go together as though it's easy. Look east. There were mighty rivers that flowed through Petersburg, quartered a slave's utopia by rebel czar's formula, 19 or a dozen times over, 90 rivers, and 1,000 bridges drawing up and falling like lazy guillotines. Great green locomotives streaked through the wetness of winters and falls into the city, out of the world that all around was still unmade. They shot out of the veins, carved into the taiga's primevalness, like clots into a heart. They screamed in alarm, but you were used to the sound. There was summer twilight in the midnight hours. The night was made for the short-lived romance of the young, for the Sphinx. Then the steeples snatched on the sky, shredded the shadows, spilled the merciless morning on the statues that hid behind the walls of the summer garden, on the dissidents that hid behind the walls, brick walls, glass walls, on the Jews that hid behind the walls, reading without lights their underground copies of Sholem Aleichem. Your Petersburg was a delicate place. It hid the shame of the naked night with the cloud cover of shades. It wrapped your mind in its spongy marsh. It hung it up on a filigreed fence like a serial killer's endgame. It dripped bits of gore upon wandering stars. It pried you apart and crawled inside. In Pittsburgh, the mouse sleeps in what remains of your heart. This next poem is called Caprice of Memory. It's globular warming, they shout. Lazy, so bubbles like rainbowed amoebas swim in the currents of wind by our heads, wriggle, float up to the branches and hang off the pines, fat, faceless clocks. And they're 8. The slim golden pine on the left fancies becoming a tall ship's mast.
The gnarly one on the right thinks it's gauche for a tree to gallivant like a human. Secretly, though, it dreams of being a cat, being fearsome and lissome and free, and showing those squirrels who is boss. Sometimes it purrs in its sleep. Look, they say, and point at the pine. That pine, it thinks it's a cat. In this memory, I don't yet know who they are. I think they are a she. I will come around again to this place a dozen years later, after the funeral, after the trial. I will tell the cat pine they're gone, and bury a piece of dried bloody cloth and a soap bubble blower by its roots, because they both were things with a secret, chewable center. This next final poem is called Stage 4. You ask if I love you. I love you like gravity. Once an hour, you ask if I love you. I love you like the third law of thermodynamics. The first and the second too, but the third one's the coolest. You ask, are we going to chemo? No, mama, no more chemo. It's just you and me now, and you ask if I love you. I love you like the photon is both a particle and a wave. Why not the electron, you ask? My flutter, my violin string, my puffy yellow titmouse. I love you like all the eternal and changeable laws that hold us together from the start to the end of time. They can be discovered, forgotten, or doubted, but their truth does not alter with your question, with your depression, with your extinction. I love you like the earth goes around the sun. You say, that won't last forever. You're right. In 5 billion years, when the earth has winked out of existence, ask me again if I love you. Thank you.